Okay, welcome back to the channel. This needs a little explanation. To be honest with you, I call it a Monkeybird. I was going to call it a Birdcaster for obvious reasons, but then I stuck this monkey on there that I found royalty free on the internet. Thought it was cool, so it became Monkeybird. This guitar is unique to me. First off, it's butt ugly. I get it. I totally understand. I'm not mad at all if you think it's god-awful ugly, because I do. It's the ugliest green I've ever seen. But there's a reason for it. This guitar, several years ago, I was watching YouTube videos, and the debate on Tonewoods came up. I don't buy it. I think it's just something that companies have sold people on ways to jack up prices. And I know right about now, if Paul Reed Smith ever sees this, he'll probably crush me in the comments, or he probably won't leave comments. He'll probably go on Twitter. I don't have Twitter, so I don't care. But it's the truth. And I think I came up with a pretty decent argument. And I'll get to that in a second. First off, what is this thing? This ugly green monster was my attempt to settle that debate in my own head. This guitar started out as a 4-foot by 8-foot sheet of 1/8 inch thick plywood from Lowe's. I literally went to Lowe's and bought a sheet of plywood, brought it home, cut it out in big rectangles, made sure to cross grain it, stacked it, glued it, set a bunch of cinder blocks on it when I got the thickness I needed, cut it out with an $8 jigsaw, Black & Decker jigsaw from the dollar store. And all the routes you see, the reason they're so sloppy, I didn't have any templates, so I used a Dremel with, I don't know if you've ever seen a router bit for a Dremel. They're extremely tiny, and I burned through about 2 dozen of them just on this neck pocket. If you took this neck out, you see little circles burned into the bottom of this neck pocket from where it got hot. I had it set in a little plastic attachment to turn it into a router, and that's how I did it, all of it, freehand, for better or worse. This is what the back looks like. It's a lot more worse back here. This, I don't know if you can hear that, is the sheet of the plywood that I used to build this guitar with. I just stained it this walnut color. So anyway, there's a giant slab of just horror underneath this, because I did it for a specific reason. First, the argument. Now, this neck I did not make. This neck was bought from, I bought this neck, it's a Chinese neck, I'm filming. This is my cat. It's being very annoying. Anyway, my theory on the whole Tonewood thing is very simple. If you look at a Strat, get away. It's a big hunk of plastic that not only the pickups but all the electronics are hanging off a sheet of plastic over a giant pit routed in the guitar. No contact whatsoever with the actual wood. Even on a Les Paul or any other style guitar with humbuckers, they're on plastic rings which are attached to the wood. They're hanging off isolated springs. They're hanging off the plastic ring with springs. They're isolated. Direct mount, the modern style where they're mounted directly into the body. You're still not touching the wood because there's a piece of foam under there to keep upward pressure so you can adjust the height. That's known as an isolator. It isolates the vibration. So tell me what the Tonewood is actually supposed to be doing. It just holds the plastic that holds the pickups that make the sound. That's all it's doing. So when I built this one, if you notice, these pickups are actually, the reason for this big hole in the back, they're mounted directly into the wood. Now, I did this specifically, and again, they're hanging on screws with springs, but they're touching the wood. They're making contact with that wood. If that wood had anything to do with the sound of that pickup, this is the guitar it would have, that sound. Now, you can debate on whether or not Wilkinson pickups are any good, or if I wired them correctly, or any of that crap. But the truth of the matter is, I run this through the exact same settings on the exact same emulator board, and it sounds just as good as anything else that I play, including really expensive things. So, to me, that settles it. Now, I also know for a fact with an acoustic guitar, it's all about two things: materials and quality of the build. You screw up either of those, it'll sound like crap, because it's a vibration chamber, and that's where your sound comes from on an acoustic. But if you plug in said acoustic, all bets are off because it's all in the pickup. Pickups pick up the vibration from the strings. That's why when you adjust them higher, they get louder. When you adjust them lower, they cool down a bit. That's what it's for. So like I said, it's plywood. Now, quick specs. 3 Wilkinson M Series pickups. This is my master volume knob. And then three mini toggles. Each one of these cuts on, you can cut these on individual. You can have them all 3 on, all 3 off, or any combination of the 3. Now, it doesn't do that cool in phase, out of phase thing, but I don't know what that means anyway. Or series parallel. Another thing a Strat can do. It's not going to sound like a Strat. Which again is another point towards my argument. If it were about the Tonewood, but why is it on a Strat? You can do the in phase and out of phase thing and it sounds different. Or series or parallel sounds different. I don't know what the different sound is because I don't know what those things mean. I've just heard them. I know they're in positions 2 and 4 of the 5-way blade switch. But one thing this will do that a Strat won't, there's a couple things. One, you can turn on all 3 pickups at once, or you can just do these 2 outside pickups and make it kind of a telly. Or you can just play the center pickup by itself. I don't know if a Strat can do that. It might. Anyway, those are the things that it does. Why is it green? I lost my mom about 5 years ago, and her favorite color was green. And the last couple of years of her life, she got into crafts. She showed up at my house one day and had this can of, it's Krylon Ivy Green paint. And she said, bought 2 cans of this. Didn't need this can, but I painted a table with it. So I'm going to give you this other can. And I guess I had a funny look on my face. She says, yeah, it's probably not the prettiest green, but it looks better when it dries. Okay. Stuck it in a box in my closet and forgot about it. About 3 years later, she passed away. So I'm digging around in my closet, a whole can of this Ivy Green. And I kind of laughed when I saw it because, like, well, Mom, you're getting your wish. So I made this deal with myself. I said, there's no way it's still going to work. The first 5 flash coats came out just clear, just water. And I thought, there's no way. I've never painted a normal size, Strat size guitar with 1 can of Krylon. No way something this massive, all the way around, was going to be covered in 1 can of paint. This is 1 can of paint. I got down to about halfway through, it started turning kind of a pissy yellow color. And the last few coats went on just green. And it dried and cured, and I didn't even put any clear coat on it because I figured, well, I'll just leave it, I'll just leave it, it'll get all scratched up without clear coat, and then I can have an excuse to repaint it. And it has a few dents and dings here, but my point being, even on the edges, I mean, it looks, it's not professional by any means, but it's all covered. And you can see on the bottom, that's me though. I've knocked some dents in it. The fact that a guitar this size, completely covered with 1 can, basically 3 coats of Krylon. It's really about 20, but down to the last 3 coats before it started turning green. The whole guitar. So I took that as a sign that it's staying green. So this is my tribute to my mom. Yes, it's ugly. I will blatantly admit it's ugly, but it's got to stay green. So I went with white and white perloid and kind of the brass and chrome kind of thing. And this, I found this vintage looking neck that has I think it's more of a Jazzmaster. Yeah, with the bound and the big block inlays. Look more like a Jazzmaster, but it kind of, to me, it kind of fits the old, like an old 50s hot rod kind of car kind of thing. And that's what it is. But anyway, this is the Monkeybird. I think I covered everything. I really appreciate you watching, and hopefully you'll come back again. And I'll see you on the next one.